Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Shopify POS Masterclass. We are going to hang on here just for a couple of minutes to give people time to dial in. While we wait, we're going to play a fun little icebreaker game called What Other Things Could POS Stand For? Obviously, we all know it stands for point of sale, but I would love to know what else you think it could be an acronym for. I'm going to go first. I have two suggestions. Points on site, which is obviously very loyalty related, or packet of sweets, much less so. So please put your suggestions in the chat and we'll see if our speakers have any thoughts while we wait. Adam and Saara, any ideas on what POS could stand for? We've got price of sausages in the chat, which is fantastic.
I might go with plenty of socks.
Plenty of socks, also very good. What define plenty? How many do you need to have plenty?
So it depends on the user fee.
Sarah, any thoughts for you?
I think I've got tariffs and prices on the mind. So price of sausages, plenty of strawberries. All I'm thinking about is the price of imports.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Plenty of strawberries also works very well. I love strawberries. All right, keep those coming in. We've been very entertained to see more. But we do have a really good number of people online now, so we're going to kick off. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Fee. I'm a marketing director here at LoyaltyLion. I have the great pleasure not just of being your host today, but also of working closely with Shopify and LoyaltyLion's product teams on some super exciting updates like POS extensibility. I'm joined today by two fantastic members of those teams, LoyaltyLion's very own lead product manager, Adam, who's been leading the charge on our new POS extensions, and Saara, product lead on the Shopify side. Before I hand over to our experts, we'll just do a couple of housekeeping points as always. Firstly, we're recording this webinar and the on-demand version will arrive in your inbox in the next 24 hours, so you can revisit or share with colleagues in your own time. Secondly, we hope to have time for questions at the end of the session, so please do drop your queries into the chat or the Q&A at any point. If we don't get to them live, we'll try and come back to you after the webinar. Finally, if you've just joined and you're wondering what on earth is going on in the chat and why we're talking about the price of sausages, we were having fun trying to think of other things that POS could stand for. Feel free to keep sending in ideas as we go. That is it from me. I'm going to hand straight over to Saara, who's going to explain what's been going on in the world of POS at Shopify recently. Saara, over to you.
Thanks so much, Fiona. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks again for making time. Again, my name is Saara Hafeez Malik. I'm a product lead at Shopify with a focus on our point of sale product and more specifically a focus on our app platform. Really excited to share a couple slides with you. I won't take up too much time kind of speaking at you. I'm excited to get into the discussion and hear from Adam as well. With that, Fiona, should I jump in or do we want to go through full interest? Okay.
Please do, yeah.
Great. I'm going to share my slides. Give me one moment.
Well, Saara said that we have a pocket of sunshine as well, which is pretty good. And my favorite description of tariffs so far, a pretty outrageous situation. Saara, back to you.
Great. Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to talk about I'd like to talk about a couple of things today. So first, I'd love to talk about brick and mortar retail within the larger context of commerce. Secondarily, I'd love to talk about why Shopify cares so much about retail. Third, I'd like to talk about the Shopify point of sale product itself, give a quick overview. And lastly, point of sale or retail extensibility or apps. Okay, so retail, taking a big step back and looking at retail in the context of commerce. So we don't believe that retail is just like any other sales channel. It's not just like a social media channel or a marketplace. Instead, it's such a meaningful and primary driver of commerce overall. Within the context of the United States, for where this chart is driven, 80% of total commerce is driven in person in physical retail. So that's this chart on the right-hand side. 20% of commerce happens online or e-commerce. So those companies who are only focused on e-commerce may be missing out on the 80% of the iceberg that's being driven by in-person shopping. And so this is one of the many reasons that Shopify is so invested in the physical retail space. Let me keep going. When we're talking about commerce, I don't like to talk about it just in the context of physical retail's over here and e-commerce is over here, because that doesn't really paint the picture of what consumers are expecting today. Consumers are expecting a completely connected shopping experience. So this is when we hear language around omni-channel. So I want to be in person, but I want to pick up something I ordered online and what have you. There's so many different variations of that, but consumers today really expect there to be a brand experience, and they expect that to be consistent and easy and fluid across their in-person and online shopping experiences. And so that's how we think about commerce as well. This is sharing some high-level stats of what we're hearing from retailers and brands. So 60% of retailers say reducing friction between online and in-store fulfillment is a top priority, and 70% of retailers plan to implement a unified commerce platform if they haven't already. So let's talk a little bit more about why Shopify is so invested in the retail space. If you know the Shopify mission statement, you know that it's make commerce better for everyone. When we're thinking about commerce, as we've spoken, in-person commerce, in-person selling is a necessary part of that. So we're here because we want to fulfill the promise of unified commerce. Shopify has 2 decades of knowing commerce. That's how long we've had a web presence, or how long you've been able to launch a Shopify online store. And we've processed billions of dollars of sales in the Shopify web store through millions of merchants serving billions of customers. Now we're bringing that same rigor that we have in e-commerce to the retail space as well. And that's really been the underlying architecture and foundation of how we build at Shopify. If we talk about the Shopify point of sale product, so Shopify POS is how I'll refer to it, it's really about creating a unified commerce platform. I know there's a lot of words on this slide, but what we're effectively trying to say is brands who may have a presence online or in person, they can really think of Shopify as a holistic platform that serves their entire brand experience. And we have really like a central home and centralized data platform and centralized admin and centralized backend that can serve the entirety of your brand's needs, no matter how you sell. So talking a little bit about the product, these are the 3 primary points I'd like to hit home. We could talk about point of sale for quite a long time, but the most salient points I'd love for everyone to take away when they think about Shopify point of sale is first our centralized back office. So when we talk about unified commerce from the perspective of a brand itself, we know that one of the primary pain points is reconciliation. Oh, I have to look at this data sheet for my sales that happened here, and then I have to figure out this system to track how sales may have happened over here, and then I have to make it all make sense for my ledger at the end of the day. Gone are those days. Shopify provides a central back office. So you have really one home where you can see how everything is working across all of your different presence for your brand, and really understanding how and where you can invest, understanding the analytics and seeing easy reports of how your business is performing, and also, of course, providing access for your staff. Many of our brands have large in-person staff, and they need to provide them access as well to understand their customers, their data, their inventory, and more. Secondly, point of sale, a lot of times there's a misconception and people think that they have to buy physical hardware to sell in person with Shopify point of sale. Point of sale is actually just software. You can get it today on your phone, whether Apple or Android, and just go to the App Store and download it. We find that many of our retailers like to run Shopify point of sale software on iPads throughout their stores. So it's really very accessible and doesn't require this upfront hardware investment. It's very flexible. That being said, we do have hardware, but it's not a necessary piece to enter Shopify point of sale to serve your store. And then lastly, payment processing. So this is all about securely processing payments to safely sell in a myriad of countries. These are a couple of stats I like to highlight about what Shopify point of sale has done for brands. So here we feature Il Conte, who can report spending 40% less time on reconciling inventory. So Shopify and its backend system provides lots of inventory management and inventory insights. And so making that easier, whether you're scanning or looking over your inventory in the data home center and your admin, it's just easier when you have one unified view across your in-person and online stores. Faster staff onboarding, within the Shopify admin, within the Shopify back office, might you say, you can get a quick sense of who's working, when, what kind of permissions they have, etc. And lastly, we hear from brands that they're increasing their average order value. And this happens through so many ways, but one reason you can assert that why Shopify is helping brands increase their average order value is because they're spending less time figuring out the admin or the overhead or the back office or the reconciliation, so they can spend more time thinking about how they want their brand to show up in stores. So they're really investing in the in-person shopping experience for customers. That improved shopping experience for customers leads to higher average order value. There's more and more of these types of use cases in the Shopify blog, should you want to learn more. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about point of sale extensibility. Extensibility is a big term in many ways. It's familiar to many people, extensions, but if it's not a familiar term to you, you can just think about this as apps on point of sale. If you're familiar with the Shopify web product, you know that you have your web store and you can install apps from the Shopify App Store to customize the web experience to meet your needs. That also holds true for the Shopify retail app. So our ethos here is that essentials should always be available out of the box, and everything else should be possible. No matter your geography, no matter what type of business you may operate in, we want Shopify point of sale and Shopify to work for you. There are tons of apps there to customize the point of sale experience. LoyaltyLion is one of our favorite UI extensions as it relates to loyalty programs. And you can see a lot more here. We have customer relationship management apps, discount apps, in-person pickup apps, so many different things out there to make Shopify point of sale work for a range of businesses. We have seen 4,000 UI extensions, so that's what we call the manifestation of an app on point of sale. We've seen 4,000 of these pop up since we launched point of sale UI extensions since May 2023. We're really proud of this, and we think it's because point of sale UI extension technology is so easy for app developers to build on. It's really easy to publish in the App Store and easy for merchants to discover it as well. The Shopify point of sale, which I encourage you to check out if you haven't already, has extensibility throughout. So what that means for someone who's using Shopify point of sale is that apps can integrate at points throughout the point of sale. So it's not just on a homepage or in a specific location, but we have locations in customer details, post-purchase, the homepage called the Smart Grid. So you can find apps relevant to whatever workflow you might be working on. For example, let's say you check out a customer and at the end, you want to send them a good luck note for their interview, the reason that they were shopping for the day. You can do that from the post-purchase page. From a loyalty perspective, if you're looking at a customer's details, on the customer details page, you can see an extension to tell you this customer has 5,000 loyalty points that they can use today. So really creating the ability for apps and merchants to access extended technology wherever they might need it, and really maintaining efficiency as retail staff are working through the point of sale. There are a few types of extensions, and this is really just talking about how the apps manifest on point of sale. There's Smart Grid UI extensions. That's kind of our homepage. That's where you see these tiles. You can access apps there. You can access them through app extensions and block extensions. To talk about action extensions, so in the point of sale experience, for many of the surfaces, especially the detail surfaces, so product details, customer details, order details, etc. On the right side of the page, you'll see action extensions. So these are apps where you can tap in, and usually it'll launch a full screen, or it'll launch a windowed modal, where you can interact and understand what it is you might want to do related to that particular workflow. So basically what I'm saying is you can access apps on the right side of many of our pages. For block extensions, this is really displaying additional information at the bottom of the page. What I show here, it might be a little hard to see, is a customer survey on the post-purchase page. So, hey, thanks so much for coming in the store today. How did you hear about us? This is a customer survey driven by an app, and you can capture that within just a tap. And that's really the last thing I wanted to surface for extensibility today. And so that's basically in a nutshell how Shopify thinks about retail, why we're invested in retail, a little bit about the point of sale product itself, and then lastly, wrapping up with point of sale app extensions. Thanks so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Saara. I love the way you described extensibility there. It made a lot of sense in your words. I think it's also great for us all to be reminded that all you need to use POS is an iPad or an iPhone. I'd forgotten that, I'll be honest. So you've really turned something that could be quite intimidating into something very accessible there. And now we'll see how it looks in practice. We are going to hand over to Adam Goodman, who will be taking us on a tour of LoyaltyLion's brand new functionality. Adam, take it away.
Thanks, Fee. I'm just going to share my screen and do some slides first. So just bear with me one sec, everyone. Cool. Great. So you can see my screen. Let me put that into slideshow mode. Great. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit before I go into a live demo. I know you're all itching for the demo, I'm sure. A little bit about why we're so excited about Shopify POS and our integration there. So Saara's already touched upon quite a few topics here, but I'll just kind of extend that and take that forwards briefly. So look, we know that omni-channel and brands having presence both online and in person is absolutely critical to brands today. And obviously, if you're running a loyalty program, you really want to build rewards into that shopping journey for your customers. You need that loyalty program to be on every kind of touch point that you have with the customers, right? So it's got to be simple to engage with, and it's got to be there. So it's just a must-have. That there's just no way to get around that. And also, a strong strategy here, obviously, is going to lead, as Saara said, to better outcomes for your brand, which is really powerful. So moving on. So how do we, when we bring loyalty to life through point of sale, which can be quite transactional, right? It's all about sales going through a system, right? We think about it in three ways, and this is how we think the loyalty program can really enhance the effectiveness of your brand positioning both online and in store. So first of all, enhanced efficiency and reduced training for in-store staff. So through the extensions that we were able to build with Shopify, which Saara's talked about, which are really great for us to build into, what that means is on the ground for your staff members, it means that in kind of implementing your loyalty program in store is really, really easy and quick. The extensions that we have got, so we've got 4. I'll talk to you in detail about all of them, but some of them live on the homepage as a smart grid tile that you can just tap into, and some of them live inline. So they're really, really kind of easy to use. If you do add them onto the smart grid and add this integration, then your staff are going to have that as part of the seamless journey that customers go through. They won't have to kind of refer to a guidebook to kind of remember to do it. It's right there in front of them. The second thing I wanted to highlight is around improved customer experiences. So it's really simple to enroll customers through POS into the loyalty program. And not only that, it's simple and quick to redeem rewards. So you can do it just in a couple of taps and add that to the cart, which makes your brand experience in store just that much more seamless and that much better, especially for a lot of the brands we spoke to during the research for this work, who really, really want to leverage the in-store experience to really harness that brand experience, to kind of take it to the next level through really rewarding customers, maybe in a way that they wouldn't even get online. And then finally, just linked to that is all around the experience. And one thing that we're going to show you, but I'll show you in the demo shortly, is the way that you can actually build your brand experience in store. So giving points for activities, for example, in store, which is a really powerful way to kind of encourage your customers to take an action that perhaps you might want them to, like recycling, for example, but also just encouraging them back in store so they can, make additional purchases and engage further with your brand. So that's the way we think about it. I'm now going to jump over to my live demo. So give me a second to just transition. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I've got my screen. So let's stop sharing. This is the moment of truth. Okay, no pressure, eh? Okay, quick thumbs up from someone. Are we good? Great, amazing. So, as was said before, I'm going through this demo on an iPad. So I do not have specialist hardware here. I've got the app installed on my phone. This is an iPad that I'm showing to you now. So let me refer to my notes here so I go through the right track of this demo for you guys. So first of all, just a quick note before I take you through some of the bits. It's very easy to add this integration. We've got loads of help documentation for you to follow. But ultimately, you need to log into your Shopify account. You can click into the POS section within your Shopify account. And in the settings, you can add apps. As Saara said, we've got 4 apps, essentially, or extensions. You just need to add them. And that's as simple as that. You can customize your smart grid, as I'm sure you guys will know already. But that's it. So what I want to show you here is I actually have a customer. I'll just take that customer out. I'm going to take you through a few things you can do. So as you imagine we're in store now, I'm going to add a customer. So this customer's coming to till. This is Jennifer. I'm going to add Jennifer here. And you'll notice that as soon as I add Jennifer, these 2 tiles, you can see kind of activate. So I've got one which shows a points balance and what rewards are available, as well as give points for activities. But before I click into them, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to click into this customer. So first of all, through Shopify POS, I can see some information about the customer, so how long they've been a customer for and things like that. But if I scroll down right to the bottom here, this is an example of an extension that lives kind of in line to the experience that your staff member will be using. So you can see customer loyalty details here. What we're surfacing here is the tier information. So if you've got a loyalty program with tiers, you'll be able to see which tier they're in. This customer is in gold, and I can also see the tier spend right there. So it's not opening up anything different. This is an extension that kind of lives straight in line when you're looking at that customer there. Okay, so that's some basic customer information that we've surfaced using extensions. I'm now going to show you give points for activities, right? So I'm going to click into this one here. I'm going to show you a few things in this tile here that you can do. So first of all, we know that rewarding customers, particularly around their birthday, is really important. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to do that. Just note also above, we have some information here. We've got how many points this customer has, got 18,000 points. Jennifer's got quite a lot of points. We also show the pending balance. If there are any pending points, they'll be in there as well. And we do show you as well the tier they're in here, and then how many points they're going to earn for every dollar spent. But I'll just click into birthday now. So just to show how easy it is. So we've in our loyalty program for this example, we're going to reward customer birthdays with 200 points. So in store, the staff member might ask, when's your birthday? And I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to select something really random. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to save that there. So I'm adding a birthday in. So now I've added that birthday for that individual customer, and they will get points on their birthday. So that's been done in store. The next thing I wanted to show you is, I mentioned in my little preamble with the slides, what we wanted to do is allow you to really boost the kind of brand experience in store. So lots of brands are talking to us about doing workshops in store and trying to encourage customers in for that, or piercings in store, or for example, a classic one is returning used clothes, for example, to be recycled. So you can set up a custom rule within LoyaltyLion, and in order to kind of reward that customer, so customer brings back some old jeans, I can simply, with one click or a couple of clicks, complete the rule here. So this customer is going to get awarded, and hopefully you notice the points balance immediately went up. So we can attract customers in by telling them they can take part in the recycling scheme, and then we can reward them really, really quickly. Another thing I wanted to just note on this screen as well is at the top where their points balance is adjust points. I'm hoping you guys can follow because I'm not using a mouse, I'm using my finger, so you don't know where exactly I'm pointing, but anyway. Here I'm going to adjust the points. Now, before I take you through this, do not panic. This is defaulted to off. It is a setting that you may choose to switch on depending on your brand and where you're at in your kind of journey. But if you do have it on, then it means your staff can, let's not update right now. We'll update later. It will mean that you can manually adjust points in store. So if you choose to put it on, I may decide to give a customer a gesture of goodwill. So, I'm going to add 100 points here. We log the staff ID. So that staff ID is accessible at a later date in case of abuse. And we add the points there. So you can see I've now added 100 points. So if you want to set that up, you can set that up through your program settings within LoyaltyLion. Okay, great. So I've shown you that. What I'm going to do now, actually, I'm just going to go back to the start, and I'm going to do what will normally happen in store. I'm going to add a product to the cart. So this individual is adding this item here. Okay, we can see we've added an item that they want to buy from the cart. Okay, so what can I do now? So if I click into the tile that shows the point balance of the customer, live demos, let's try that again. There we go, probably my internet connection. You'll see our redeem rewards tile. So there's a lot going on in here, and it's all really a couple of taps to use it. So again, you've got the points balance right there. And what I can see here are the rewards that my customer has got enough points to use. So for example, there's a $10 discount here for 1,000 points. My customer might be interested in that one. So I'm going to simply click redeem. Okay, and now you'll see the cart's been updated with that discount there. If I click back in, I'm now going to show you here, I've got one of our seamless free product rewards here. So this is for a set of skis. I know a lot of brands like to do free products in store. So I'm going to redeem one of them as well. I'm going to click onto that, and you'll see when that's done, you'll see those carbon skis have been added to the cart for free because that is the reward. In total, it's 100% reward there. Do note that when you set up rewards, just like you do for your e-com store, there are limitations that you can put onto them, like, for example, minimum spend or product specifics or limitations there. So you might want them only to be for a certain collection, for example. If you do set them up like that, they'll be respected in store now. So, that will work in store as well. Cool. So just to finish the journey, now I've got this order. I'm going to check it out. So they're paying by cash, and we're going to complete the checkout now. Cool. So what can we see on this screen now? So we can see, obviously, the transaction's gone through here. And just to bring your attention to this extension at the bottom here, which is points earned. So one of the bits of feedback we got during our journey of discovery to enhance our integration is, well, just how many points has my customer earned? So it's quite simple. We had staff members kind of working it out on their fingers and things like that. So we just surface how many points have been earned from the order. Also, if you do have an approval period, we just highlight it there so the staff member doesn't have to remember that there. And that, I think, let me just check my notes. Yeah, takes us all the way through the entire demo that I wanted to show to you today. So I think at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and pass over to Dee.
Yes, brilliant. Thank you so much, Adam. I love the fact that at the end of the purchase, you could tell the customer how many points they've earned and, oh, hey, you've got more, come back and spend again. That's a fantastic way of bringing someone back. Expert screen sharing too, well done. I think it's really helpful to see things live and in situ. It really helps you to understand how they work. So thank you for that. I am super excited to see more great loyalty programs working hard in store. Now, we promised that we would have time for questions, so let's put these two in the hot seat. We have some questions that have come in already, so we'll start with those. And Saara, I'm going to come to you first. Outside of loyalty apps and extensions, what kind of other app extensions do you typically see people using on POS?
Yeah, that's a great question. We see a huge range of apps or extensions on point of sale. So off the top of my head, one thing that really comes to mind is clock in, clock out, or staff management. So if a brand has multiple employees and wants to track their hours, you can integrate an app into the pin pad and track when did employees come in and out. And there's lots of many other things, and I see apps around staff management come in. So like task lists, scheduling, etc. So I would say overall staff management and clock in, clock out. In addition to that, lots of discounting apps and extensions, order management. So, someone is here to pick up their order, managing the workflow around that. And we're seeing a lot of apps now very specific to types of businesses or verticals. So I'm seeing apps around coffee shops, how to make Shopify point of sale work for your coffee shop. I'm seeing apps pop up around other types of food and beverage, specialty stores, some athletic gear stores as well that have their own specifications around, for example, composing a bike or building a bundle of products. So that's just a couple of different types. I won't go on, but it's been really cool to see how developers are using the APIs and components available for point of sale UI extensions to make their entirely own experience. Seeing Adam's demo is always so great because despite the diversity of extensions that we see on point of sale, it's nice that the UI feels really integrated into the point of sale. So it didn't feel like we had made a total departure, but it felt integrated.
Absolutely. I think what strikes me is the flexibility that you've just highlighted, from a coffee shop to building a bike, the range of different things you can use this for. And then that coupled with the simplicity that Adam just showed us, that just makes me really excited about what stores can do in the future. Thank you, Saara. Adam, we're going to come to you next. We have a question here. Can I enroll loyalty members in store via POS?
Yes, absolutely you can. So you just need to input the details of that customer. And just note that if you're enrolling loyalty members in store, they'll initially be enrolled as a guest until their purchase goes through. So as soon as their purchase goes through, which is usually straight away, pretty much, then they will become a fully fledged member of the program.
Fantastic. And then could they, I guess, start earning rewards straight away with their first purchase?
Absolutely. So they'll earn points with their first purchase straight away in store. Yeah.
Lovely. Fantastic. Sticking with you, Adam, can all LoyaltyLion rewards be redeemed in store, or is it only selected ones?
Pretty much all of them can, mostly. Gift cards we don't currently support. That doesn't mean that customers can't use gift cards in store. Of course they can, but they can't use their points to exchange that for gift cards. We're considering whether or not we might add that in future. And there are some other less relevant rewards like free shipping, that kind of stuff, which doesn't quite fit in the POS kind of use case that aren't available either. Just to note on that one, for those on the call that used our old integration, you will have been aware that there were issues and limitations where actually rewards didn't work. For example, I touched on this in the demo, collection restrictions. They didn't previously work in store at all. Now that's all working. So if you want a reward that has a very specific collection that you are restricting it down to, that's absolutely fine. That will work in store. So those have disappeared, which were an issue in the past.
Fantastic progress. We love it. Saara, to come back to you, where can we add apps in POS? Where do we go to do that?
So if a brand, or let's call them a merchant, wants to add an app, you can do that by, first you go to the Shopify App Store, you find the app you want. What's easy is that there's a Works with Shopify POS filter in the App Store. It's kind of like a drop down in the top right, so you can see which apps work for your in-person selling, and oftentimes they work as well for your web store. So that's great. After you install the app, you go to the Shopify admin, so that's kind of home control center, and within the point of sale channel, you can find a flow to activate your extensions on point of sale. So that's kind of how to bring them to life on your point of sale itself. And then in terms of where those apps manifest in the point of sale, I thought Adam did a great job highlighting a couple of the different opportunities. So there's the smart grid tile that he showed. We also saw customer details, and that's effectively true throughout the point of sale. There's action, block, extensions, as well as smart grid tiles. So hopefully that covers the intent of the question. So if you want to add an app to your point of sale, go to the App Store, install it, then go to your admin and the point of sale channel to kind of bring it to life on your point of sale itself. And then within the point of sale, depending on what the app developer designed their app as, you may see it throughout the point of sale.
Fantastic. Super good description. Thank you. And actually, again, sticking with you, Saara, I'm interested in this one too. When did Shopify actually start with the point of sale? How long has that been around for?
Yeah, absolutely. So Shopify itself, the e-commerce platform, came around in 2006. Point of sale came up in 2013. That was the earliest versions of the product. If you've been with us since then or been tracking, the point of sale product itself has undergone tremendous evolution. And we continue to invest heavily in the point of sale product, or our retail operating system. The apps for point of sale have been actually around in different forms since 2017. So if you have a point of sale, you may have already had apps. The UI extension technology that Adam showcased, that has been around since 2023. And that's really all about making apps easier and faster to access. So apps have been around on point of sale, but really strong, really fast apps have been around for about the last 2 years.
That's very exciting timeline for development, actually. Fantastic. Thank you. Adam, coming to you for a bit of a technical question. For redemption of points, is it due to certain limitations that you can only set a fixed amount of points to redeem rather than any amount of points?
Great. So this was a question that is in the Q&A channel. I'm not 100% sure I understand this question, but I think I do. So essentially what I showed you, and it's a good segue for me to talk about what we're working on. So what I showed you just now is these are rewards that have been set up within my LoyaltyLion loyalty program. So when you go into your admin for LoyaltyLion, you set up the rewards you want. Those are then surfaced through POS, which is why you kind of see that there are, I think what you're referring to is like fixed amounts of points. So like 1,000 points for, $10 voucher, I think it was. That's not a limitation. That's just we're surfacing the rewards. But we are working on a new feature that we're going to be launching into POS, which mirrors the Redeem at Checkout feature that we have for your e-commerce store. And that will give more control literally at POS to redeem at the checkout. So there are going to be increments, so increments of buckets of points or amounts that you'll be able to just apply to whatever the discount is that kind of matches with that. So in a much more free flow state and having predefined rewards. So some merchants will choose to use both that and preset rewards. Like if you've got seamless free products, you might want redeem at checkout. Some may only want redeem at checkout. That is something we are working on. So I do hope that answers your question.
Fantastic. To put you on the spot again, Adam, sticking with you, can we limit what rewards are visible on the Shopify POS app to prevent customers from redeeming rewards that should be online only?
Great question. And again, pleased to get that one because we're also working specifically on this. Usually the request we get is the other way around to what you've put, Kai. So usually the request is, look, I want to do rewards that I only want to appear in store, but I think you're saying it the other way around, which is great because the feature that we are building is going to allow you to create rewards as you normally do, but then select from there where you want that reward to show. So for example, you may want some rewards that only display on POS. You may want some rewards that only display in store, and you might want some that display in both. So we're working on that at the moment, and that will allow you to just select on a reward by reward basis where they show.
Nice. Fantastic. And we are very close to running out of time. So last question. I'm not sure whether this is for Shopify or LoyaltyLion, so we will come to you both. Are you able to share additional features or functions that are in the pipeline? Any tidbits or treats you could give us to let us know what's coming up next? Saara, how about we come to you first?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always investing in point of sale UI extensions. Right now, if I could just speak very high level rather than in specific releases. And again, this is quite developer facing, but I'll translate into what it means for merchants as well. We're really investing in making the experience of building on point of sale for developers as easy and consistent as possible with the way developers have been building on Shopify web. So what that can mean for merchants or brands is that we expect more apps in the App Store, so greater diversity, because it's basically easier to develop once they already have familiarity with the Shopify product overall. We are making some enhancements for direct API access, so basically not requiring developers to have their own backend, but can really query data from Shopify directly. So that we also expect to lead to a greater proliferation of developers on point of sale. And then longer term, we are really investing in making extensions and apps more powerful and more capable for those merchants who are ready for that. So for example, one thing we think about a lot is on Shopify web right now, there's a checkout validation experience. So merchants can say, hey, don't let a customer check out until A and B have been completed. That's very specific information we need to capture no matter what. That is a brand or a merchant decision. We're thinking about some of that same logic and some of that same approach and thinking about it within the context of point of sale, whether it's checkout validation or other rules they want to very tightly integrate into their workflows. That's one thing we're thinking about, how to bring that to the in-person selling experience and do it in a safe way. So that's a really high level way of saying basically two things. One, we're trying to make it easier, cheaper, faster for developers to build on point of sale. And we expect that to mean that there's a greater pool of app developers and greater pool of apps for merchants to choose from. And then on the other side, we're investing in the technology to make the apps on point of sale more powerful, should that be the direction that merchants want to choose.
Fantastic. Super exciting things to look forward to. Adam, over to you.
Yeah, so I kind of stole my own sort of thunder earlier with the answers to some of the great questions we had. The two bits I really wanted to highlight about what we're working on next, the most exciting things, and frankly, the ones we're actively working on right now, is what I've already spoken about. So the ability to redeem at checkout via POS. So not having to rely on kind of predefined rewards, but rather using increments of points at the till or at the register. And then the second thing, which we're really excited about as well, is that ability to select where you want your rewards to show up, so that you can have specific rewards, like, you can, get these earrings if you come in store only, or vice versa. And if you want to show them for all three, for all surfaces, then that's fine. So those are the two. We hope to update you really, really shortly with those features.
Fantastic. Again, lots to look forward to. Right, folks, unfortunately, I'm afraid we're going to have to call time there. If you have further questions about Shopify POS as a whole or the LoyaltyLion extension specifically, then I know that both Saara and Adam would be more than happy to hear from you. Maybe on LinkedIn, or you can reach out to us at support@loyaltylion.com or via the live chat on our website or in platform. As I mentioned earlier, the recording of this session will arrive in your inbox in the next 24 hours, so stay tuned for that. Finally, please join me in saying a huge thank you to Saara and Adam. I know I learned a lot today. I'm very excited to see how people start upgrading their POS use cases over the coming weeks and months. But for now, good luck. If we can help at all, then please don't hesitate to ask, and we hope to see you online again soon. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everybody.